What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 70 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, Nud faced off against Kolek Suneater and did destroy most of his army, though Kolek himself did manage to hightail it out of there, and it will survive to fight another day. Nud is gonna sit here and heal up, but he is in a very dangerous position with Kolek still nearby and a bunch of other armies nearby as well, one of which could maybe potentially move towards him. I guess we're going to find out when it happens. Either way, Nud, I hope you survive, man. You've been around for a long time now, and you are not yet immortal. 2 ranks short, so hopefully. In fact, let's get you Emperor's Finest for another point for those halberdiers in case we need them to try to hold the line and have you survive. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time around, I believe we stopped with a battle at Goregazan, so we'll have to head Wolfram and Luther in to fight that. Yeah, we'll have to fight this manually, but it's always fun to watch the Soulfire bros do their thing. Otherwise, I do believe we've moved most of the stuff around, so we're free to proceed. Just gonna double check real quick. Let's see, Kurt Lehman, you're fine. Jamathius Warren, did we start recruiting? Oh, no, we didn't. Alright, so what I wanted to do with you was to move you to Sudenburg and start and or continue recruiting war wagons, outriders, and pistoliers. Also, can you reduce the cost of recruitment? You can if we give it to you. Why not? Wait, what do you have in terms of your trade determined? Yeah, that's garbage. No thanks. Leader of renown. Honestly, we could just reset him and then make him a temporary recruiter in this particular territory. Why not? Honestly, it's probably not going to save us that much money, but depending on how many of these armies we end up building here. And I would have loved for Headhunter to be here, but it's okay. I guess we'll get the control bonus and irrepressible, like so. Alrighty, looks good to me. You are going to get, let's say, 2 units of war wagons with mortars. Actually, 4 maybe. Alright, 4 it is.
Where next?
Where are we here? 4 units of war wagons and mortars, and then let's start on some pistoliers. Maybe this army will be just all pistoliers and war wagons, mostly because we're doing outriders in another similar follower army. And I do like this idea of one of these armies with war wagons and fast movers essentially just backing up most of our armies as a sort of secondary army. Anyway, let's continue moving. We got tech thieves to run around, but that should be reasonably quick. You can continue heading up north, and oh yes, this situation. Alright, so, you know, the problem here is that we were sieging Pahwaks, and unfortunately there's another army heading close. In march stance, they can probably get to us here, which means we can't fight this with Wolfheart, at least not that a full stack, and this pretty darn elite garrison, and Mazda's army. In that light, what we'll do is we'll send you right here, Bernard, and I think... Oh, you probably can't go into amber. Maybe you can. You've got 26% but 63. Okay, you know what? Cancel this. Break siege. Ah, damn, you moved really far. You can barely move an ambush. How much points do you have remaining? 75. You need 50, right? Oh, you have attrition here? Why is there attrition here? Lizardmen territory right if Sotek is active. Oh, that's kind of a problem. Yeah, so the thing is, I was gonna back Wolfie off. Alright, we could do this next turn then. We're gonna go into encamp stance, we're gonna pop you right here. I don't think Mazda's going to attack, but we have a 100% ambush chance here, which is what I want to take advantage of, to destroy either Mazda's army or this army. It doesn't really matter which one. It's just that we can't fight 3 stacks with Marcus. We can fight 2, but certainly not 3. So destroy 1 in ambush and then head to Pahwaks. A little bit of a stalemate here, I know, but it's okay. That's why we're recruiting a bunch of extra units to send into the meat grinder before Marcus. Anyway, let's continue moving whoever it is we wanted to or needed to move. Boosters don't need to. Theon Thuringman, you're headed up north, and I do believe you were the last. Alright, so unless we have recruitment, it's time to fight with the Soulfire units. I guess you guys are looking good. You got your war wagons on the way. You guys can't move. You're waiting for war wagons. And wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. What kind of war wagons do you have? Okay, you have the same exact type, which is what we wanted. Alright, those guys are good then. Let's attack at Goregazan, shall we? We could level everybody up, but honestly, I doubt that it'll matter all that much, so I think rather than wasting the time, we'll just head on in. Close victory with medium casualties, apparently, mostly because the AI does like to underestimate the flagellants, and certainly the Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons are superior, but we have the numbers, and we have the soul fire, and the faith in Sigmar on our side. Here we go.
In the name of Sigmar!
Alrighty, in the name of Sigmar, finally a very appropriate speech for this particular army, or these two armies, as they do have 4 warrior priests / arch-electors. Anyway, as usual, we're going to begin by bombarding the enemy with our mortars while our infantry move up. We'll still be doing as much blob tactics as we possibly can with our flagellants and Sigmarite disciples, mostly because it's fun. Obviously, we could just clear the enemy army out with handgunners and with our mortars, but I don't see the need for a relatively small settlement like this and would rather just enjoy the battle. Anyway, we've started off by destroying the first of the enemy towers, and there is a second one on the menu, but these 3 are first going to have to clear the enemy furies that are in the way. Looks like a bit of a miscast on us, so it'll probably have taken damage, but the enemy will take damage as well from the Flock of Doom, while the captains and the Beast Wizard continue to fight. Still will be very nice to get the Beast Wizard on the Griffin eventually, when we get a high enough level to do that, and make it a lot easier to fight things like this. Although the Empire captains do remain fairly fragile and do often have quite a bit of trouble facing off against even Furies, which is a little bit surprising. I'll probably be giving them some more items relatively shortly. A few more turns should give us a decent amount of additional extra items because of all the extra magic find that we've been focusing. Just still not enough. Not to worry, for those who aren't aware, I generally check a bunch of items between episodes and deal with that admin, at least, off the screen, because, well, there's enough admin on screen as it is. Anyway, the first of the enemy Furies has been knocked out, and these 3 will be doing weird little jig movements in the skies, but otherwise we'll be knocking down the second of the enemy towers. Our infantry has nearly moved up, and just took a shot to our summoned halberdiers, and we do have our reinforcement army moving onto the field as well. Fortunately, this is not one of the situations where the enemy can summon bloodletters on top of our mortars, which is just fine. We're going to be moving up our swordsmen, our great swords, as well as our halberdiers up here, just to open up the battle. But once again, most of the battle will be done with the flagellants. Oh wow, these guys just took 2 volleys from our handgunners and didn't lose a single model. Damn those Chaos Warriors of Khorne. They're real good for a tier 2 unit. And this is an unbuffed, relatively unbuffed I should say, garrison unit. And these guys do be scary. I really gotta play Scarbrand one of these days. Alrighty. Remember to vote, folks. Alrighty, and we're gonna get the first of these soul fires off in this pile of enemy Chaos Warriors, and this is the Soul Fire army after all, with access to 4 of them. Well, 2 for now, 4 when these 2 get onto the field, and they are moving in. Here come the Sons of Sigmar and the Flagellants and the Sigmarite disciples about to join the fray. Our handgunners are also trying to focus down the larger models like the Spawn of Khorne, because it's going to take some time for these guys to knock them out. There we go, and the Spawn of Khorne is down to about 1/3 of its HP, a couple more volleys from the handgunners, and it will in fact be gone. It is a fairly fragile unit after all, and there we go, rolling down the hill to its doom. And now just have to overwhelm the Chaos Warriors of Khorne here, and then we'll be into the settlement. Obviously, our citizens' guns, as usual, firing right into the enemy. You gotta love that non-damaging effect that they have. Is real nice. And our heroes are working together to try to knock down the Spawn of Khorne, as apparently the handgunners were having a little bit of a difficult time firing on it for whatever reason. not important, or not a big deal at least, because down it goes, and now we're in it. In the meantime, the enemy towers have gotten destroyed by our flyers, and I believe both of the enemy Fury units have been brought down, though one actually decided to fight in melee instead. Anyway, here come more Chaos Warriors of Khorne to get in our way, and these are the shielded axe variety rather than... Which ones did we just fight? Was it halberds? Yeah, it was halberds. Alrighty. Now, I wonder how a battle between the Sigmarite, not the Sigmarite Disciples, but the Sigmar Sons, the Regiment of Renown, would go between them and the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. Just check the stats here. Well, the Chaos Warriors of Khorne do outstats them by a fair margin in everything except melee defense, which is hardly surprising, but they still have 60 melee defense. They do have Frenzy as well. But as odd as it may seem, Chaos Warriors of Khorne are not unbreakable, but the Sigmar's Sons are very much unbreakable, so I think it would still be a fairly decent matchup. Might try to make it happen at some point. Whenever or if we can at some point get a unit like this isolated. Anyway, these guys are going to be working through the enemy, but they do have the Soulfire to help them out. We also have a few more units moving into the enemy settlement, and there is a set of Exalted Bloodletters and Chaos Warriors of Khorne, again shielded, over on this side, which we're going to mob with our mob/blob tactics. Sigmarite Disciples leading those Doom Cultist Flagellants. Alrighty, away they go. Let's see how these guys handle that. Obviously, the Sigmarite Disciples are a particularly a good unit to have because they buff the relatively fragile Flagellants on top of having magical damage with their hammers, which means they're fairly effective against these demon units. Alrighty, and the Exalted Bloodletters are melting away, especially under fire from those, once again, magical damage-dealing Sutsun's guns. We even still have a few of our great swords fighting from the summon unit, and they might as well just be part of the blob now. They're all honorary Doom Cult at this point. Alrighty, well, these guys have broken through over on that side, and the balance of power is at about 90% in our favor. Some Dire Doggos, or Flesh Hands of Khorne, have also moved in to try to help out, but it looks like they and their Bloodletter handlers are all going to melt away shortly as well. And with that, the battle is pretty much ours. I believe once these guys are gone, plus that last unit that is moving down the hill, the rest of the enemy army should shatter. Very few units are attacking right now. I think they're just trying to get through at this point, mostly because these guys are melting away, but it looks like the enemy isn't attacking much either. Yeah, definitely one of those issues when you have a press of units, everybody just blocks each other and nobody can do much. But we gotta go past the demons, and it'll be the Archlector and the Warrior Priest moving in first. Do have to be careful with them because they can take quite a bit of damage. So yeah, as long as we can keep up the Shield of Faith and the Hammer of Sigmar, we should still be good. But definitely dangerous to send these guys in like this. And there we go, all four of them now working together. I really like this team. It's like you know, it's kind of like playing one of those like turn-based games where it's like, I don't know, like Darkest Dungeon or something like that, where you have 4 units, but you get 4 of the same exact type. Or any turn-based RPG, really. And this is why we got 4 Archlectors slash Warrior Priests. I guess technically the Archlector and the Warrior Priest are slightly different units, but really in terms of their abilities, not by that much. Just call one a slightly more advanced version of the other. Anyway, and we go for the, I believe, last unit on the field, which is the Chaos Warriors of Khorne with the dual axes. And as soon as they're done, the battle will be over. And I know I said that the last unit, but I mistakenly thought the last unit was the last unit. But this unit is in fact the last unit, and that phrase has now lost all meaning. The madness of Khorne is upon me. Alrighty, well, let's see how long these guys can hold out. We are moving in with our Sigmarite Disciples. I'd also love to get a matchup between the Disciples and several other units just to see how effective they are. Where's our Disciple unit? I want to see what their stats are. Oh, they're currently buffed by everything. Yeah, one of the problems, I mean, not really a problem, but one of the issues, it's not really an issue. You want to check the stats, but these guys buff everybody up constantly, and you can't really check them. Anyway, looks like the last of the last units is going to be a spawn of Khorne. These guys, unlike the Chaos Warriors, are unbreakable, and I do believe the Chaos Warriors have, in fact, broken. Yeah, the balance of power is 100% in our favor. Everybody else is melting away, and now it's just time to bring down that spawn. I do think there was another unit of Chaos Warriors of Khorne up here, but it looks like they ran from the Doom mob. I wonder the degree to which Khorne appreciates the flagellants and their berserk form of fighting. I mean, are they really that different from Khorne cultists? Are they really? I mean, other than the fact that they don't like chaos, but, you know, small differences. It's the desire for the blood of your enemy that will unite us all. Anyway, a decisive victory for us, and I don't believe we took too much damage, a little bit more than we could have, but this was more fun. Alrighty, well there we go. We certainly could have done that more systematically with less losses and much, much slower, but I think we did it the fun way with blob tactics, and it's always entertaining to watch these guys fight. Plus, it's lorefully accurate, so yeah. I guess we're going to just talk about it. I mean, we could sack it, but it's not a lot of money, and we'll be trading it to our allies anyway. Why bother dealing with the inevitable public order problems? Don't bother collecting the income either, and then we'll figure out where to send you. Luther, you're still a followy army, although, ooh. Actually, you guys don't really have much of a way to go. I guess you're going up north. Yeah, we're nearly done in the Badlands here. I mean, I guess we'll move down to Khemri afterwards, but yeah, fairly soon. Alrighty. And we'll have to figure out a new direction for these guys to go, or just sort of consolidate what we have and then build up and fortify and then get ready for the end game scenario. It's also another option, but we'll see. We still have Norsca to deal with, and what is going on in Lustria still also needs to be dealt with. Anyway, that was the last army that needed to move. There may be at least a few buildings, though we've already spent most of our money. Krugenheim, oh right, you were going to get a common temple, and though it is crazy expensive, I'm too lazy to look for something else, so let's just build the common temple then. Northern Sylvania, we could upgrade the temple, but there's not much point. Ooh, let's go for the gunsmith though. And that's always great because of the much needed, ever needed capacity. And I believe that's it, so let's re-choose our tech, which is the Runefang Pact. And then I guess we go. Next turn. Alrighty, now I'm most curious to see what'll happen with Mazda Mundi. Well, although to some degree with Nud as well, but, well, we can't look in both places, so we'll look in this one. Actually, no, we won't, because the Legion of Chaos, for whatever reason, needs to be shown to us. I wonder why it does that sometimes, and it feels like it's always the first move, like... Why do we need to see what Legion of Chaos is doing? Anyway, Ogre Kingdoms want us to join the war against the Darkland Orcs. There is no purpose in us doing so. Let them fight it out against the Darkland Orcs themselves. Yeah, Frozen Landing is going to be an issue, or rather, it is an issue already because it was retaken from Kislev, but yeah, we're going to have to send an army up there. I believe somebody suggested in the comments we could also transfer them some cash, which is certainly a possibility as well, and oh, not the one I was expecting. Oh my. Okay, that's a lot of stacks with no magic available. You know what? You're gonna back off. I want to see whether they'll still attack with 2 stacks rather than 4. I was expecting 2 originally, not 4. Well, I guess it's 3 and some, but yeah, we could do 2. if these guys fought. Whoa, wow, I almost pressed auto-resolve. That would have been frickin'... What a way to lose the Moor army. Retreat, see if they continue attacking. No! Really? If they're gonna be too cowardly to attack with two versus 1 stacks, and our stack isn't even complete without a wizard. They need 4. Okay, fair game, fair. Not to worry, once our wizard gets there, we can just make use of him to Pit of Shades piles of enemy units and reduce their stack number advantage. Alrighty, what do we have here? Hawkland, the most useless one because we already have their territory, so assert independence. Although in some ways it is a very useful one by virtue of the fact that we can keep using them to continue asserting independence and gaining more imperial authority. Alrighty, and Ally begins outpost construction. Torgavon mission aborted, not super important. Mazda still recruiting. And there's a hero right there. I don't like that. Alright, you're gonna go right here. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This army didn't actually move away. Oh, and there's another stack here. Oh, wow, it's the Rite of Primeval Glory stack, eh? Alright, well, you're gonna stay right here. You're gonna stay right here. Right behind Marcus. And you're just gonna keep recruiting. Recruit. Let's get some shielded ones. Recruit. And I guess we'll see if Mazda Mundi attacks. This is allowing him to rebuild a little bit, but if we can manage to take all of this, then it'll be fine either way. You're gonna land at Blood Hall. Like so, and you are going to begin the siege. We are not going to hit the walls with these armies. This is not what they're for. A Riser, you're gonna land and kill this little no, I guess you can't do that. Alright, fine, you're gonna land right here beside the other army then. And I guess you're gonna do the same thing. Hopefully they don't have lightning strike, but I don't imagine they do. Go into encamp. Go into... You're the one sieging, right? Yeah. Yeah, for these guys probably encamp. For these guys, maybe trenches. Although you do have missile resistance, you have encampment with melee defense and leadership. Yeah, well, these guys are going to be sent out front. Missile resistance or not, that's still going to be useful. Let's see if these guys attack, but if they don't, well, that's what the siege equipment is for. We could actually auto-resolve them, so they might not sally out, but we'll take them out ourselves eventually, especially with 3 Soulfire-toting Arch-Lectors there. Alrighty, now, what happened exactly with Nud over the end turn? Okay, so Greasus is trying to go after Karn Kurgan Tamer. Karn has moved to Ice Spewer rather than to attack Nud, which is kind of interesting. Charon of the Gore Hunt decided to run away. And this is really not what I expected. I expected them to attack Eagle Ares and Gorger Rock, instead they attacked nothing and moved away. Well, Nud now has a very decent amount of HP. He can't reach Karn Kurgan Tamer, but he could probably hit Kolek again. That's a heck of an army, though. 2 giants, dragon ogres, trolls, chaos war shrine, plus whatever he's got in here, plus Kolek himself yet again. Still, it is quite tempting. I think we'll do this battle. I think we'll do this battle at the start of next episode. I don't believe we have time to fight it now, as that, by virtue of all the reinforcements, will have to be a cinematic. It'll be a long one. Let's get some more territorial gains in the meantime. Aren't you are going to be the one that moves? Let's do... Oh. We have attrition here, so unless you can move an encamp stance, which I'm not sure that you can... Ah, yeah, you can. Never mind, I lied. You're gonna go here. And actually, no, you're gonna go past Numas, maybe? Alright, here then? That's actually not even that far. Alright, fine. Well, we'll attack Numas anyway while you hit Numas directly with a quick little auto-resolve. There are no defenders there, so it's a free territory. We can leave Khemri because I don't believe there's anybody nearby to take it, except possibly Khemri, but, you know, they're not going to declare war on us preemptively, or at least I doubt that they will. It is a possibility, but I doubt it. Pistoliers are 1 turn? Did I change... Oh, we deleted the blacksmith, that's why. Nah, well, too late now. I was wondering why these guys were not recruiting as fast as they were before, but yeah, not a big deal, obviously. Anyway, Karl, let's see what the situation is up here. Ah, Akarak the Crow has nearly retaken Monolith of Bubonicus. Damn, this whole area is so difficult to to keep these guys alive, but we gotta keep trying. So Karl, I guess you're going after Akarak here. He's gonna run away, you can't reach him. Oh wait, can you block armies? I always forget. You can, well at least you can give it a try. I don't know whether you can or you can't. Either way, this guy's gonna run, it won't make any kind of difference. Not in my name. And you failed on top of that. Oh, in fact he sacked the Monolith of Bubonicus, which means the place will be destroyed shortly. And we can head to Stormvrak map before this guy lands. You know what, I think what we'll do is, regardless of the attrition, it's only slight for Karl. We'll go right here outside the Monolith. Wait. Now, since he sacked it, it doesn't have... Yeah, okay, no, we can't do that. Basically, because it's sacked, I believe the AI can actually take it regardless. So we'll go here. This guy will run. But I feel like he can't run far enough away to escape Karl next turn. And judging by the annoyance of this, I think we have no choice but to get Karl a second army up here.
In the name of Magnus.
He can't hold us by himself. I mean, he can hold, but then he can't do anything, which is too annoying. So, in that light, while Nud probably can't do it, that means I believe the plan was to send Kurt up there to help. So, Kurt, away you go. Okay, now go this way. Go this way so that the Reichscaster can actually join the Reichsmarshal.
Great treasures, come to me.
Huh. Are you gonna start moving, or... Yes, okay. Don't think I've done that before on the move, so I wasn't entirely sure what was gonna happen there. There we go. Alright, it's gonna take you a while to get to Karl, but you'll get there eventually, and then you'll be able to help him out. In the meantime, you... Well, I guess this is more recruity stuff. Let's deal with that next episode. Let's see if there's anything interesting that can happen otherwise. Let's see. Balthazar Gelt has arrived at Galbaraz. You know what? This seems like a battle that would be worth fighting as well. Oh, and Orion is here. I feel like if we send Aldebras Meyer to help, Balthazar won't be able to fight by himself. As in, this guy will run away and we won't be able to draw them out, and I'd rather draw them out.
I am in ascent. That will work.
Alright, you also have points, but it's probably not a big deal. Well, I guess we can get another point in Gehenna's Golden Hounds and evasion towards the better stuff there. But for now, you know what, give this a try by yourself.
No peace, just war.
And low casualties apparently, but we're gonna give this a quick fight just because I think it'll be fun. Plus, this is the destruction of the top knots, so here we go. Alrighty, well, this is interesting and unexpected. We got ourselves a choke point battle, but a very odd one. First of all, the army deployments were like this, across either side of this mountain, rather than on either side of the choke point. So the armies aren't meant to fight between the passes, perhaps? I think. Or maybe we were supposed to deploy here, but either way it doesn't matter because the main enemy army or armies that are coming into reinforcement are going to attack us from this side, which is kind of interesting, so they won't be able to make much use of this choke point. I guess you could consider the entire map a choke point because even entering here they're going to have to essentially be funneled towards us, not much choice in the matter, but yeah, very interesting setup. However, this absolutely does favor us quite a bit, and the enemy's going to have a bad time. We have a massive amount of artillery, and the enemy has to essentially run towards us in a massive blob that we can target as soon as they get onto the battlefield. Anyway, we're going to start out by grenading the Orc War Boss that is outside the settlement here. And actually going to take a little bit of damage. Oh, actually not so bad. About 15 to 20% damage from the grenades, and here come the Pegasus Knights. Not Royal Pegasus Knights as yet, but I still like to have them in this army to follow the Empire Captain and Gelt both into the fight. It just makes sense to me. Alrighty, there we go, and they're going to surround the enemy war boss and allow Gelt and his captain to drop down on him as well. And they should bring him down without too much trouble. I just gotta remember to replace them with Royal Pegasus Knights later on when we can. The Royal ones have Perfect Vigor. Oh, these guys have Perfect Vigor too. Okay, well then. Still gonna replace them, but yeah, anyway, looks like the war boss is pretty much done for. Poke away at him. Oh, and block his way as well. Couple more hits, and down he goes. I feel bad for the boar, but not so much for the orc. Anyway, looks like... Yeah, wait, reinforcements. We got 4 seconds until the enemy moves onto the field, and here we go. We are going to immediately start firing with all of our artillery. Okay, you gotta... Guys, come on. Of course they hit our own units. Ugh. Hardly surprising, but anyway, look at all these enemies, and they are all in a very nice blob. Still sort of a natural choke point here as well, and all this artillery is going to wreak absolute havoc on their army. This is disgusting. They have absolutely no chance here, and Gelt is going to follow up by getting a Gehenna's Golden Hounds Overcast right in the middle of that, followed by an Overcast Searing Doom, and already some of the enemies are moving off the field. What the clinking sound of the Gehenna's Golden Hounds. Enemies are trying to keep away from that, but I'm not sure how effective that's going to be. Those enemies that are trying to keep away from the rest of the... Oh, come on. God, what the heck? Wow. Wow, rocket batteries. Just killed like half of your own Outriders there. Now, only 12 units dead, or models dead, but damn. Yeah, so it looks like our own artillery will have done much more damage to us than the enemy will have done by the end of this, because it doesn't look like the enemy is going to have an easy time actually reaching our battle lines. We're just going to go ahead and move the Outriders away from the rest of this, because it looks like they're in a lot more danger here. Plus, look at the rocket batteries firing into these orky blobs. It also looks like there's another problem. Not on top of the fact that this is a choke point, the units that are out front are doing the dance to try to avoid artillery hits, which sends them back into the rest of the enemy mob and essentially crowd crushes them all until they're stuck. And another Overcast Searing Doom, man. Gelt must be racking up the kills after that. Do we have another Gehenna's Golden Hounds? Yes, we do, and another Overcast. Oh, man. Gelt is just having the time of his life here. Alrighty, and unfortunately we didn't get really any value out of our Luminarch of Kish in this particular, or Templehof Luminarch, in this particular battle. It does get to cast its net of Amontok on these Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins, but otherwise not much for it to do. Outriders are finally getting a chance to fire off a few grenades, as at least some of the enemy units, perhaps the Lord and his personal guard, are able to close, even while the rest of his army is moving off the field. Absolutely ridiculous. They could do nothing. Well, it's okay. We got our Pegasus Knights flying in as well, and they're going to get some more work facing off against Boar Boys rather than just the enemy Lord here. And it looks like the Boar Boys don't want to fight the Pegasus Knights. It looks like the enemy Lord, as well as his bodyguard, are also going to move in and try to bail them out, but it's not going to last very long, and the entire army will shatter. Definitely feels like a bullying the AI moment. But I guess it was always going to happen. And in situations where we have a clear field, even if this wasn't a choke point battle, a double choke point battle, I guess, even if this wasn't one of them, Gelt's army with its massive amount of artillery is always going to be kind of disgusting to use against armies that are very infantry focused. Anyway, gonna knock down the last of the enemy units that we can while they run. We would like to auto-resolve the settlement. And I do think, just judging by the amount of HP left, which all look to be slivers of HP on the units running off the field, I do believe we should have it in the bag. Especially considering the battle was, I believe, auto-resolvable in the first place, but you know, it's already been like 5 or 6 minutes since the battle began, and my memory don't last that long. Ooh, alrighty, looks like Gelt out 126,000 damage. Yeah, he outdid the artillery pieces, and one of the artillery pieces did very well, doing twice as much damage as the other two. Pretty interesting. Well done to you. And obviously, well done to Gelt. I really feel kind of bad for the AI in that particular situation. It was a very odd map in the way it was positioned and deployed, but, well, that's the Orcs' problem, or at least it was the Orcs' problem back when they were alive, and now it's no one's problem. Galbaraz, now we can auto-resolve you safely. I guess we could have auto-resolved it safely before, but, you know, would have been less fun. We're gonna occupy the place, and I don't think this is a landmark for us. It's for everybody except us, isn't it? Faction destroyed top knots, and just to check, yeah, no, we can't build anything here. Not a big deal, that's just fine. Anyway, with that, we're obviously out of time, and I am gonna have to call it here. Next time, we'll try to get a nice battle with Nud versus Kolek yet again, but also his elite reinforcements. We'll see whether we can fool Mazdamundi or one of his big stacks here into an attack on us, only for Wolfheart to kill him, and otherwise continue the destruction of the Exiles of Khorne, who are pretty much done for. And same with the Bloody Hands. Yeah, continue shoring up the Badlands, which we're pretty much good with anyway. So stay tuned for all that. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.